my name is Penny and welcome back to Coppertree Acres. If it's your first time here, we are a 4-acre small pecan farm. We also grow organic fruits and vegetables, and we are actually starting up a small market garden this year. We've been gardening for about 6 years now, and we're looking forward to seeing how that goes and expanding on that over time. So if you want to check out some of those videos, we are toward the later part of the season with the pecans. Like anything, we're winding down, going into fall. So the leaves will start changing and then they'll start falling. We are in mid-September right now, actually getting into sort of the later mid-September. And it is late in the day right now, so I've got the sun in my eyes, kind of golden hour. Such a beautiful time to see the trees, and we've got a little bit of wind going on, and it's just such a pretty time of year out here in September. September is just a great time of year typically in most places, but here it's just magical. All right, one of our favorite trees right up here up front. Look at all the clusters. Oh man, there are a ton on this tree. This tree yielded great last year as well. Now these are supposed to be biennial, I mention that every time, but what I believe they do, and I'm not positive on this because we're just still learning, is that they'll have a bumper crop one year and then maybe a decent or not so decent crop the next, or nothing. So because they're biennial, it's like they just have their season to have a better crop. It doesn't mean that they don't produce anything at all. God, it's just so pretty this time of year. I hate to see this time of year go. This is like my favorite. I love this part right before the holes start to open up on the pecans. Here we don't harvest until the holes have completely come off or opened up and revealed the pecan inside. And then we kind of wait for that first frost, and then after that, that's pretty much time. We can have the shaker out or we can harvest them ourselves. Look at this low hanging branch and look at all the pecans on it. Very nice. This is a similar tree. We're not sure on all of our varieties. If you followed our channel at all, you'll know that we bought this property in February of 2022. We moved in here, and we're not given a list of what kind of pecans we have. We just know we've got about 8 or 9 varieties that we can tell, and we have about a few trees of each. This is a little tree that's off by itself, right over where the irrigation comes in, and it's just not doing the greatest. We've been working on it. We've been giving it some more love. We've been working on getting these trees in good shape. We want to do everything organically and naturally and regeneratively on our farm, and it's very important to us. This tree doesn't have hardly any pecans this year, so again, it's not its season. Last year it didn't produce much either, so it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with it. It does have some pecans on it this year, but last year it did not have hardly any, and they didn't come out well. This tree, however, last year did amazing. And this year it's doing amazing, and it's grown a bunch. These pecans were half the size last year. So that's what I mean by biennial. I'm thinking last year was its off year where it did the small pecans, and now it's coming in with better pecans. What we learned this year, or what we got into a little bit more, was that in August, about mid-August here in Arizona, we have what's called the water phase with the pecans. And inside the pecan, there's basically water where the kernel will be. So as you can see, where the kernel will be currently is water. That water over the coming weeks will solidify and begin to form the kernel inside. The exterior here you see that's brown is the shell beginning to form, and the green hole will eventually start to pull away and expose the nut as it matures to its full potential. Throughout this season right now, they need the most nitrogen and the most water. They're getting plenty of water, and we've been fertilizing, and I'll show you some footage on how we're fertilizing our trees to make sure that the soil here is well kept and that everything has the best chance that it can to do everything that it would do naturally, because nature knows what to do. It's man that gets in the way of it, in my opinion, oftentimes anyway. That doesn't mean that they don't need some help because of our environment and toxins in our environment nowadays, but look at these ones. They're a little bit more round. I love these ones too. This is one of my favorite trees. It's huge. All of our trees are about around 20 years old, some maybe 15, and then we have about 4 babies that were put in sometime between 2018 and 19 before the former owner passed away in 2020. And he left a legacy of beauty here on this property. This is our main quad. I love this quad over here. I really want to do like a wildflower patch here. I'd love to cover that with a tarp, a certain portion of this, and turn into a wildflower patch. I don't have time again this season, unfortunately, because we're doing the market garden, which I'm doing a video on. So if you want to check that out, that'll be released anytime now. So if you want to check out what we're doing there. This tree doesn't have as many pecans as last year, but they're in good shape. They're good size. Our foliage is coming in great, and I owe that to the type of fertilizer we use, which is Tony's Magic Mix fertilizer tea we make with it. Look at these beautiful pecans. They're so pretty. I just love this time of year, this time of day. That's an apricot tree. These are 2 of our largest trees. So we have this one here, right next to this one. I'm not saying the spacing is the greatest. These trees were not pruned to a central leader, none of them. Spacing isn't always the best on all of them. We have a baby pink lady apple that's a quince that's really old but actually produces quite a bit of fruit. All of our fruit was fried by a late frost this year, all of the flowers, so we do not have any fruit on any of our trees this year, not at any of our pomegranates, our 21 pomegranates, and or any of our other fruit trees, unfortunately. An old plum tree. And look at these. Look at these beauties. I mean, oh, look at this. They're gorgeous. All of the pecans on all of the trees this year are bigger. I would say at least a quarter bigger, if not a third bigger. And I really think that just has to do with the consistent watering care we've given them, and our new methods for fertilizing have helped. Because when we got the property, it had been vacant for a couple of years, and there were neighbors doing their best to, keep it watered and everything. These are beautiful trees right here. I haven't taken enough time to sit out here lately. Here is part of the reason our trees are doing so great. Hey girls, what are you doing? Oh yeah, it's dinner time, isn't it? Mom's gonna bring you some dinner in a minute. Oh yeah, ladies, what are you doing? She is like the smartest chicken in the world. Figures out how to get out, how to get back in. I've given up. She is just smart. Anyway, this is our chicken tractor, or our Chickshaw 2.0 by Justin Rhodes, if you know anything about Justin Rhodes. He designed this, and we have pretty much used that design, and we did a few tweaks. I need to do a video on that so I can show you guys, but basically we move them around from tree to tree. Their little doo-doo gets left behind, and we get things like that. See that dark green, beautiful dark green? That area has been doo-dooed on since May. So the chicken dew is giving our trees fertilizer, and it is working out pretty good so far. We have not had any issues. The chickens love it. And out here, we had better pasture the beginning part of the year. and then the Bermuda kind of sets in. I need to add some good cover cropping into these pastures for next year so they have better things to eat on, and the pollinators have better things. Look at those. I'm telling you, I mean, we only had a few trees with pecans of this quality, of this size. We had actually pretty good quality in the nuts last year, and we had pretty good nut fill, considering the trees had never had any, you know, really good care for a couple years as far as fertilizers and things like that. This tree, I don't think this tree has a lot on it. Last year it was okay. This is our very back quad, and this one tends to be a bit on the sparse side because it does not get the irrigation. By the way, I have videos on irrigation if you guys want to check it out. And actually, I'm going to throw some irrigation footage in this video, I think, because I have some that I've done since my last irrigation video. So, but these trees are beautiful too. They kind of just get left in the dust sometimes. I think they have in the past. So we are basically doing our best to make sure they get all the care that they need to get back up to par. And they are producing, but the pecans are smaller. These aren't too bad though. Yeah, actually, this one's pretty good. All right, not too bad, not too bad. I've found a little bit of the black aphids that love pecans around here. These are still really small. This is how they were last year, but you know what? They have like an amazing oil content because they are super flavorful. They're one of my favorites. I don't know exactly what they are. We thought they were initially briquettes, which is the Texas state pecan. But then we found that they probably weren't because I guess briquettes are supposed to be bigger. I've been trying to figure out for a while now what our pecans are, all each of them. And we have figured out that we do have like some types of Elliott and Stewart's and things like that. So, and the Elliots are one of our favorite. Look, there's only one. Only one there. This one doesn't have very many this year, I don't think, if I remember right. This is my favorite tree. As you can see, it just went crazy overgrowth right after we pruned it this season. But I want you to check out these pecans. Look at those. They're amazing. Wow. And look at this. This is something we have to get rid of. We have a couple trees with this. We just noticed them. They are gnarly. Check them out. I'm going to go this direction so you can see it from here. Look at these things. Look it up. But it's a moth. It's moth babies, moth larvae. And it's a type of moth, and they lay all their eggs, and then they can defoliate the tree pretty good. But they usually stick to one area, so I'm just going to pull them off and get rid of them. We have another tree that it's up higher. I want you to take a look at how awesome these are. These are awesome, and these are great. Look at this cluster. Seriously amazing. Chickens have been over here a lot this year. We got that chickshaw built out, and the chickens in it, and the new chicks, which we have 21 new chickens, the black sex-link chickens. We got those in March, and we had the chickshaw done by May, and they have been rotated around here. So we have 34 chickens rotating around on pasture. Great eggs, awesome, awesome. Feeding them organic food, and it has really been working well. We got a cat over here and a dog. Neighbors. It's too cute. That cat and that dog hang out together all the time too. Look at these clusters. I'm telling you, our pecans were not this big last year. Now, some of them were, but we had like one tree that had like these really large pecans, and we were so excited. They were so good, and now we're finding that it's just in the year and in what you're doing with your trees that actually makes up a lot of the size. I would say half of it has to do with the care, and the other half is maybe the type of pecan. But look at these. And here we are, like I said, mid-September, late, kind of getting into later month. It is just a beautiful to look at these trees and look at the pecan progress. And look at, I've got my BB dog. I thought it was another chicken because we have our lone rogue chicken. It cracks me up, man. This is a really cool variety. This is one that we believe is a type of Elliott. See how they're rounder? I don't know if you've noticed when I'm going through each of the trees, you'll notice the difference in the hull and the difference in the shape and size. This one's one of the round ones. What do you want? What do you want, Missy? This is Rogue Chicken. We're just gonna call her Rogue. I know, she's asking me for food. It's food time. It's feeding time. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's no joke having any kind of like an orchard of any sort. It's a ton of work, especially if you're trying to really maintain them well, you know. I'm not complaining about the work, but you know, trying to add in this market garden stuff and do it all on my own. I'm doing the market garden stuff mostly on my own. I mean, Ben's helping wherever he can, but as far as just mapping out what's gonna go where and what's gonna be planted and what's gonna, you know, what we're doing, it's a bit crazy at times. We're back at the main quad, and we have this tree, which this tree is on the end, and as you can see, if you look at its, you know, trunk here, it's been eaten away at years ago. It's got the scarring from, you'll see that down there, the deer coming on the property and eaten away while they were young. So the deer will eat the bark during the wintertime when there's not much to eat. Everything here goes dormant in winter, completely. These are sticks in winter. And this tree, I am very surprised we actually have a harvest on it, and they're so nice. But it goes to show what we did last year is working for this year, and then what we've been doing this year. But this tree, being on the end, just kind of gets missed with the water a little bit more often. Or it's a little bit later to get watered. It has been a labor of love. It has truly been a labor of love. Last year we had just under 1,000 pounds, and that was pretty exciting. We have a website. We sell them on the website. We sold a bunch to people we know. We sold a bunch, our family sold a bunch. And oh, by the way, Ben's mom, for my birthday, which was September 13th, got me a microphone, got me this really cool microphone system, so my sound would be a little bit better, and we can avoid, hopefully, the wind, because we have such bad wind here a lot of times, that I can have better sound quality, hopefully, for the rest of the videos that we do. And so she was excited to see, because she said, yeah, I can't hear you that great on some of the videos, so I'm super excited. Thank you, Mama D, for the beautiful gift of the microphones. We got a couple microphones, so if Ben's on here with me, we can use those. I'm going to show you some other footage of what we've been up to. We've pulled out our IBC totes once again to fill them up with the Tony's Magic Mix fertilizer tea. This tank holds 250 gallons. Essentially, it holds a little bit more, but we're probably going to get about 250 gallons out of it. Our other big tank down the way here, that actually holds roughly 375, so we're going to go with 350 gallons. for a total of 575 gallons. So our little pump is running at about a minute 20, minute 30 for 5 gallons. So now we know however much we want to put on each tree, we'll just know that every minute 30, we're just going to call it minute 30, is 5 gallons. We have 25 trees we have to feed. So we're going to roughly have 23 gallons per tree. I'm just going to call it 25 gallons for each of the big trees. Roughly around 23 to 25 gallons per tree on the bigger trees. Each tree we're going to go 6 minutes to give them 25 gallons because we know we're roughly around 120, 130 every 5 gallons. Get them watered, get them fertilized, and our irrigation is hitting the property right now. So this is a great time. We're going to fertilize around our drip line, which is basically very outer branches, right around the tree, about the very, So you want to stay within this range under your tree. Even though these trees have a taproot that they collect nutrients from, that goes, for a mature tree, can go 10 feet deep. Our first tree is fed. Moving on to the next one. So along with the nitrogen fertilizer, we're going to add in zinc sulfate. And what we're going to do is the knifing in method. And that entails some form of heavy-duty knife type stabbing thing that you can stab into the ground, knife into the ground, and add the zinc in that area so that it gets into the soil and penetrates the soil. We apply zinc sulfate early on in the season, right at bud break in early spring. And again, mid to mid-late season, we do the second feeding. So we kind of hold back the amount. We calculate the amount up for the entire property and the amount of trees we have, and then we split that in half. We do half in spring and half later on the season, right around this time when the kernel fill is forming. The zinc sulfate helps the overall nut production on the tree itself, and then also helps with kernel fill. And most of the major growers will foliar feed and swear by the fact that you can't put it in the soil and it's going to be effective, but actually the University of Arizona has done quite a few studies, and on trees the age of our trees, 15 years to 20 years and older, there was just as much nut production using it on the soil directly. What type of zinc you should use will depend on your soil type, whether it's acidic or alkaline. Out here we are alkaline, and according to the University of Arizona and the articles that I have read, the zinc sulfate is just fine. It's a little less expensive than the zinc chelate or chelate, however you pronounce that. So this is the method we are going with, and because we're adding in such a great fertilizer along with the zinc each time, it helps for the availability to be, for the zinc to be available to the tree to uptake the zinc. A lot of times they'll say that, you know, if your soil is too alkaline, it'll bind up the zinc and it will make it unavailable to the trees. So just keep those things in mind when you're fertilizing. I'll add links to a couple articles that are really helpful, that have helped me out, from the University of Arizona below in the show notes if you want to check them out. We are of course new to this and just learning and doing everything we can as naturally as possible, so be sure again and do your own research. storm in the distance. Can you see it?
What happened?
All those clouds. I don't know. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Thunder, lightning. Oh, dust storm. Oh, dust storm. Oh man. It's hitting. Look at the dust. Uh-oh. Oh man. Right in the middle of our fertilizer. Those are all turkey vultures. And this is their season to migrate. They're always around, it seems, but there's a lot more of them right now. It's neat to watch them glide. It's amazing how many of them there are. Crazy. Probably 1,000 feet up at least. Just gliding. Watch them glide all the time. They love it. Exactly what I'd be doing if I were a big old bird. Gliding in the winds.
Sorry guys. Tripod problems. What you doing?
Oh, you know, just hanging out in the rain. Hanging out in the rain. Almost an inch and a quarter. At least in this thing. I don't know if this thing is accurate, but I guess it's just at an inch. Come back to it. Just over. But I think it seems like we've got more than an inch of rain. I mean, we've had so many massive puddles, they just soaked in. So anyway.
Well, there you have it, folks. We were, I don't know, we don't live in those parts, but it kind of looked like a funnel cloud would be. So we're like, could be. Well, it's been a little crazy out here, so. I know Mesa got hit pretty hard where they got airplanes that were like tipped over and stuff, and we're like, could be a microburst or something. Oh, oh, big lightning. Did you catch that? Nope. We are going inside.
You had the camera facing that way.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. Somebody's freaked out.
Stop.
Me too.
And for the final segment of this Pecan update, we leave you with Coppertree Acres movie set. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, our little farm was transformed into a modern-day Western movie set earlier in August. Yours truly even had a small role in the movie. It was exciting to see the cast and crew do their thing, and the day was really hot. It was hot and muggy. and just, you know, humid mostly. So everybody, it was like one of the hottest days we've had. They happen to need to film that day. We've got a pecan farm owner named Pete. So Coppertree Acres was turned into Pete's Pecans for the day. And it was just a really exciting time. It was a lot of fun. They were here all day and they really got some good use out of it. And this was just a segment of the movie, but it was so fun for me to get to witness a Western being made, even if it was a modern day Western. I thought it was totally exciting. I absolutely love Westerns. Many of the actors that are in this movie have had roles in quite a few other Western shows and movies, so that was exciting to get to meet some of them. All around, it was just a total blast. Unfortunately, Ben had to miss out. He was working that day. It was during a weekday. Thank you so much for joining. We sure hope to see you again. Be sure and check out coppertreeacres.com. We are moving the rest of our 2023 inventory. We only have about 100 pounds left we need to get rid of so that we can make room for the 2024 harvest. Coming up soon, we'll be doing some footage. Stay tuned for that. Take care and God bless.